As the case of Alonso or Diaz, Dan, which one would you prioritize if you're the Mets?
If you're the Mets, look, I mean, obviously you'd love to have both of them back. I mean, you want to have like 1 and 1A, but if I have to pick one guy and one guy only, I mean, you have to go with Pete here just because you think about what this team was offensively. They actually took a small step back in 2025 as opposed to what they were in 2024, and this was a team that had Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Lindor, all having really, really strong years. I can't think about the possibility of how they're going to be able to put this together without that Pete lineup, especially in the middle of that batting order. Look, I understand there's limitations. I know that he's a liability at times defensively, but I just can't imagine this lineup, guys, without Pete Alonso.
So I totally get that, Dan, and for what it's worth, Alonso and Diaz should be Mets long-term, no debate, no questions asked. However, if I look at the free agent market, to me there are ways you can go and replace Pete Alonso. I see Alex Bregman out there. I see Kyle Schwarber out there. I see Josh Naylor out there. I look at the closers market. My goodness, it is a nightmare. Do you want Devin Williams closing games for the New York Mets after what I had to sit through watching Devin Williams for 162 games with the New York Yankees? So both players are needed for the Mets, to me, to have success in 26 and be a big-time baseball team. But you can carve a path, shockingly, without Pete. What is the ninth inning without Edwin Diaz? Who's the guy?
Well, I mean, there is no good answer here. You know, you're picking between two bad ones of having to let one go. But as you mentioned, JJ, you know, why are we talking about money with the Mets? I mean, these are two guys you should bring back. If they're the two most important players to bring back for your team, then you bring them back. But if I have to choose, I'm more on Dan's side on this because you do need Pete. He's an everyday guy. Soto needs the protection. He's the one that impacts you every single day. And teams do put bullpens together. I mean, the Dodgers scrambled. They had a perfect offseason as far as building up a bullpen. All their guys got hurt or were bad, the guys they brought in, and yet they still won the World Series. So you can get through that, but I think why do you have to choose? You know, if money is no object, those are guys you have to bring back.
All right, but is it about money? Because the logical side of me says, okay, well, yeah, great, Steve Cohen has all the money, go out and get these players, but I don't think it's a good investment to invest in Pete Alonso long-term or Edwin Diaz or any closer. It's not a knock on Diaz long-term. And Alonso, that'd have to be the caveat where I want him to be the DH. So I'm not so sure that it's necessarily just about the money here. There are also baseball decisions to be made, and it can't just be, we'll bring everybody back and then go get Tarek Skubal and then go sign another free agent. Like, at some point, you got to try to build the thing the right way with also being responsible and smart with your decisions.
Well, what's long-term to you? I mean, what do you consider long-term? Anything more than what would be irresponsible for a guy like Pete or even Diaz, for example?
I mean, you're going to pay Pete Alonso more than 6 years. I don't even care about
Are we having this argument about, didn't they just sign Soto to 15 years?
Yeah, but
so,
that's
who cares about the long-term thing?
But that's Juan
Because
Soto.
of the age and the idea you're going to have him as prime
But even
for years.
still,
5 years okay?
I would go 5 or even 6 years, but the money to me is what matters most.
You honestly think Alonso's going to get 7? Who's giving Alonso a 7-year contract?
Well, no, I don't think that.
Yeah.
But then are we talking about a $170 million contract? Also, my priority with him would be DH. And it's not even, okay, we'll just say Pete, whatever. You can't operate and say, we'll bring him back. Sure, we'll just pay him. What about Diaz? You think paying Edwin Diaz 4 years for $100 million is a good investment?
You just said there's no good option.
Well, what about
that.
Suarez? What about potentially Suarez? Who
So has he pitched in New York? Do you know what he's going to be like there? How many guys get brought in like Suarez?
Suarez
and just
is also
bomb
35 years old, by the way, guys. He's 30. He's going to be 35 years old on opening day next year. Robert Suarez.
You already have a guy that can pitch here, has excelled here. I know I'm a little bit worried as Diaz gets older, as how hard he throws, that there could be problems health-wise. But I don't get into the length of the contracts here. It is money there. And if you win a championship in the next 1 or 2 years, does anybody care how long the contracts are?
You have a window right now. You just gave Juan Soto $800 million. Like, this is not about 4 or 5 years from now if you're the Mets. These guys
Those
right here, right now,
long-term
you got to win.
Right, but I'm not opposed to spending, but spending on those guys in addition to what they've spent on, I'm just not so sure that that's the right business for me. What about Alonso? What would be a good backup plan in the event that the Mets?
Backup, I mean, look, if you're just trying to replace the production offensively, I mean, you have to look at Schwarber, right? I mean, he's probably like the only, if you're going mano-a-mano comp on the open market, unless you want to get into the trade market, but just free agency, it's Kyle Schwarber. And look, I understand, of course, he has limitations. He's essentially a designated hitter, but as you said, the protection in the lineup for guys like Soto and everybody else, if you just want to say, okay, buy Pete and insert a plug-and-play guy, it's Kyle Schwarber. Schwarber. One other thing I want to say, too, and look, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but we all talk about the labor horizon with baseball. After next season, what could potentially happen here? And we hear about salary cap potentially and all that stuff. Do you think these teams, as far as putting together a roster and going about attacking this offseason, are maybe looking with one eye towards the future, thinking, there may or may not be a salary cap that we have to deal with eventually?
I'd be surprised if there was a salary cap. I know there could be a lockout and stretch it out some. I think they have to do business on how the business is right now, and these are going to be the market rates for these players because there is a season to play next year. So these guys have to be signed to get these deals in. So, I mean, as far as a replacement for Pete Alonso, I think a name you're going to be hearing a lot about is Kazuma Okamoto. Okamoto is going to be coming from Japan. He's essentially the Japanese Pete Alonso. 30-plus home runs. More of a contact hitter, though. Puts the ball in play, doesn't strike out, and a better defender. So as you look around the league, there's not good replacements here, free agent-wise, for Pete Alonso. I think that's a guy you're going to be hearing a lot about.